Do you love great podcasts? Do you love great Australian podcasts? Of course you do. Australians make incredible podcasts. And if you want to stay up to date with the best Australian shows, then check out Oz Podcasts. Look for us on social media and find your new favourite show from the Australian podcast directory on ozpodcast.com.au. That's OZPODCASTS, ozpodcast.com.au. Check it out.
If you like new stuff before anybody else, if you like to keep your finger on the pulse, if you like the future and want to be in it, keep on listening because we'll start in a minute. Techwebcast, the hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast, cause technology it moves so fast. Techwebcast, ha, stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah, Techwebcast, ha, ha, Techwebcast. Let's go.
Welcome to episode 306 of the Techwebcast podcast, recorded on the 20th of September 2014. Techwebcast recorded every Saturday at midday Melbourne time. Please rate us on iTunes and like us on Facebook.com Techwebcast. Follow us on Twitter at Techwebcast. And our hosts today are Andrew, Brad, Stephen, Jennifer, Jacob, Paul, and Ballista 57, and Ballista also our guest. I guess that's still on there. And a guest, Alexander Haggerty, from founder and managing director at Echo Health.
Hello, Stephen. How are you, mate? Welcome back, mate. How's your week been?
Oh, pretty good. It's been fairly busy. iOS 8 came out, so definitely downloaded that really quick, and of course, the release of the iPhone 6, kind of watching that, and a bunch of other stuff going on, so trying to keep up with it all.
Well, as you know, Steve, I got my phone yesterday, mate, and absolutely love it.
And your video went actually mini viral.
It did indeed. Me and Andrew did an unboxing yesterday for about a 2-minute video.
Yeah, mini viral. That's a good term to use.
Not quite viral yet, but it's mini right now.
Kind of viral, but it's kind of like better than just a handful of people watched it.
Yeah, definitely. Steve, what's your view on the new iPhone?
I think it is definitely better this usually every year. Of course, larger screen options, more storage space, and so forth. I think the health app, I've taken a look at it and done some reviews on medical ID, which I think is going to be probably a really big feature of the iPhone, because the way they have it integrated into the iPhone itself. It's going to be great for people with medical conditions, and then somebody can grab their iPhone if they're like passed out and can see what the problem is. They got diabetes or whatever, so I'm looking forward to all that.
All right, let's move to the left to Andrew Cunningham. Welcome to the show, mate. You're on your iPhone 6. You're getting some food or something, or going shopping?
Yes, I am, Brad. Good to be on here as usual. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How's your week been?
Yeah, really busy, actually. So it's been a good week, though. And obviously with iOS 8 and the iPhone coming out, it's been a really good week. I got the handset yesterday, which was fantastic. So really enjoying the iPhone 6 at the moment.
Good stuff, mate. And you bought one from Telstra?
Yeah, I did actually. Friends down there at Telstra looked after me. It was a really good experience, and definitely recommend them. They were able to help out. There were a lot of queues down at the Apple Store, and I managed to get away without going through that whole process. Yeah,
and I also want to say thank you to Optus as well for looking after me too. They actually looked after me, got my iPhone to me yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it on this podcast. So thanks to Optus for looking after me, and well done on them. Alexander, welcome. Alex.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, mate?
I'm well. Beautiful Saturday morning in Melbourne, so I'm looking forward to the day ahead.
Yep, same, me too. Did you get the new iPhone, or have you seen it?
I've seen it. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. I wasn't excited enough to queue up at Chadstone for a good few hours, and Optus, Vodafone, Telstra weren't happy to sell it to me outright. So
yeah.
I'm going to be holding out for a little while before I get it.
Maybe you can pre-order it on the Apple site, maybe.
Well, I've actually asked somebody on Airtasker to line up in queue for me on the Tuesday at the Apple store to pick one up. So,
oh wow,
yeah, hopefully they'll be able to pick one up there and deliver it to the office. And as of Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll have iPhone 6 in hand.
Nice one. Are you an Apple fan, Alex?
I am through and through, but I'm not 110% on what's going on now with Apple post Steve Jobs. I just don't think it's one and the same in terms of their ability to innovate on the same level.
Okay. Interesting perspective.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, view. Let's go to Brian. Welcome, Brian Boer. You are not an iPhone, or you are an iPhone person, but have you seen the iPhone yet, Brian?
No, I've been on vacation all week.
Okay. Okay,
nice.
then we.
I've been watching and stuff, and I watched your video. And
thank you,
Andrew. You got to hold it from the bottom, please.
Yeah. I heard you were a little bit worried. It was like a 1-inch drop, and the drop was for effect, Brian. I sort of held the top, and it slid out. I thought
you're the second person on video who in Australia who has dropped it out of the box.
That's my phone, by the way, Andrew.
It was your phone, Brad. It was a 1-inch drop, and it was for effect. I held the top, and it slid out underneath.
If
and
you
it was a 1-inch.
Phone,
so did the other guy.
Yeah, if you dropped that phone, mate, you'll be buying me a new one.
Brad wasn't worried at all. Chris Voss last night, I was on a 3-hour hangout with Chris Voss in the AT&T store.
Yep.
And he dropped a brand new. He took a iPhone 6 Plus out of the box at AT&T and physically dropped it from his waist height on the ground and went, well, yeah, that wasn't meant to happen, and then puts his foot on it and stomps on it.
So
the thing's 3 seconds out of the box.
Nice.
And someone behind him, one of the managers from AT&T, didn't know that he did it on purpose, and she said she nearly lost her marbles. She was like, oh my God.
Oh, wow. That's not good. Yeah. Not good, Chris Voss. Okay, anyway.
But otherwise, I'm
it's pretty funny
trying to promote the video, so geeks got to eat. So,
yep, that's it, mate. That's it. Let's go to Bryce. How you going, Bryce? Welcome back, mate.
Hey, Brad. I'm going good. How are you?
I'm good, mate. You no phone yet for you?
No, I hopefully we'll be getting it on next Tuesday with a bit of luck. So
looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I'm actually pretty excited, and I think the views on your videos show that a lot of other people are as well.
Yeah,
those views are honestly insane for one day. 40,000.
Yeah, we uploaded it yesterday, so uploaded yesterday.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, YouTube the way it is now. I mean, if you put it up in 2009 or 10, that would be kind of what you'd expect, but that's honestly insane. I mean, people must be really, really excited for this phone, and it looks like a really good phone.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice phone. Yeah, it's a great phone.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, very nice phone. Welcome back, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm here. Hey there, how's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm well. Congratulations on your new iPhone.
Thank you. Have you got one yet?
No, I'm not going to be getting one until after the new year.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, in 2015?
In 2015. Okay. Yeah, I work for a wireless carrier, and they, we want to make certain all of the customers, all the consumers are out there able to get their phones, and that's our top priority. So therefore, employees are not allowed to get them until later.
I know how you feel.
So yeah, you know what though? As long as it gets in the hands of the customers, that's what matters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, is it true?
That's a really nice gesture, actually, from the carrier. So, who is it you work for? Give them a plug, I think.
I work for Sprint, and yeah. So
you secretly go through a third party and buy it, and you don't tell them. No, just kidding.
I can't. They won't allow us to do it. Nope.
Oh, really?
Even if we get it through a third party. If you gave me one today, I could not put it on my phone. Well, there's demo units, and with iOS, there's lots of training, and there's demo units, and so it's definitely.
Jennifer, how does Wi-Fi calling work on the iPhone 6?
Well, I don't have the iPhone 6, but Wi-Fi calling would work. I do have Wi-Fi calling on my LG G3 right now. And in short, I'm able just to use the Wi-Fi network to make phone calls, take text messages. And that way, if there's no in-building coverage, at least you have Wi-Fi so you can use your phone, and it also saves on your minutes and your data.
I can't get it with Optus at the moment. I don't know why.
You don't have Wi-Fi calling?
In Australia.
Not available in Australia.
Oh.
There you go, Paul. Good answer, mate. I didn't know. Okay.
No wonder.
Okay, let's go to Paul Carey. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, Brad. How you going?
Mate, you're up at 3 a.m. for your iPhone or something.
Yeah, I actually lined up at 3 a.m. in the morning outside of Telstra. 7th in line at the Telstra store in Brisbane. It wasn't a bad experience. Like, Telstra actually went all out. Like, they actually had security guards everywhere. They had Telstra staff handing out blankets, food, and everything. It was like a homeless shelter outside of the Telstra store. They were literally handing out stuff like as if it was a
homeless shelter for all the
basically
iPhone users.
Wow. Basically, yeah. People walking up and saying, "Is this like a homeless shelter?" And it's like, no, it's not. It's a lineup for a phone.
iPhone store.
Yeah. So, Paul, what do you got the phone so far, mate? And you got the other phone too, the Android phone, haven't you?
Well, the LG G3. Yeah. I ended up picking up one of those. Was it the iPhone 6 Plus? Funny story how I got this is that I was the 7th in line, and I thought, I've got this in the bag. I've definitely got one of these. And they walk up to me and said, we've just ran out. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then I'm just about to walk out of the line, and they come back and said, we've just found one for you. Wow. Yes!
You see.
And I just get one.
So you got an iPhone Plus, right? iPhone Plus. 6 Plus.
Yeah, I picked up one of those, and also one of the iPhone 6s as well.
Nice one.
Not for me, though.
How is the 6 Plus in comparison to your LG G3? Is it comparable in size? Is the 6 Plus larger because of the fact that it has, on the LG G3, there's like no bezel, right? It's pretty much the entire screen is the screen. Is it larger, or what's it look like?
Let's put it this way. I can put my LG G3 inside of the 6 Plus.
Wow, what a shame, huh? Wow. And with our LG G3, it's the same screen size. Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, it's like an optical illusion. For some reason, I think the 6 Plus is bigger. But I know it's the same screen size, but for some reason, I think it looks bigger by like a few centimeters, and maybe it's just an optical illusion or something like that, or the way iOS lays out its icons.
The parallax effect.
It's got to be an optical illusion.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. Yeah, I think that's a win for LG though. With putting those buttons on the back, it really made a difference.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. I do use that. Like Apple has that in iOS, that double tap thing on the home button that brings down the entire screen. I've been pretty much using that the whole time for everything, including applications, music, whatever. I'm just always double tapping that. I'm just finding myself always double tapping that.
Yeah, it's a good feature, that one.
Isn't that funny?
Good feature. Jacob Jones, welcome, mate.
Thank you, Brad.
What's wrong with your audio, mate?
Nothing.
It's breaking up. What's your...
It's a connection out here for right now.
Okay, well, you better fix it. How's your week been, mate?
It's pretty good.
Okay, and how's your iOS 8?
Okay, right now I have my iPad in front of me. I'm just tracking a package.
Okay, cool. Did you order the iPhone 6, did you?
No. It's not an iPhone. Hey, I said I was going to be doing an unboxing, but I'm not telling you what's going to be in it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
People know what's in there. Just don't spill the beans, please.
Okay, I would never do that. Okay, let's go to the news, Jennifer, and then we'll come back and have a chat with Alex.
All right, let's do it. In the news coming from imore.com, on the iPhone 6 pre-orders set a new overnight record for Apple. They are typically tight-lipped about such things, but they are saying that pre-orders for the new iPhone and the iPhone 6 Plus had set a new overnight record for the company. The newest iPhones went live for pre-order at midnight Pacific time a couple of days ago, and while there was plenty of glitching along the way, it didn't stop many people from getting in their order. Apple isn't alone in the new bigger iPhones being an overnight pre-order hit. AT&T also said that pre-order demand for the iPhones were greater than the last two phone launches as well. And in a statement to Recode, Apple said, quote, "Response to iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus have been incredible with a record number of pre-orders overnight." Of course, that is a vague block of time overnight, but a record number is still a record number. So to put things into perspective, Apple didn't offer This one is coming from Gizmodo, and it is about 25 things that you can do on iOS 8 that you couldn't do on iOS 7. So the first one, you can install a new keyboard. That's right. So now you can install third-party keyboards such as SwiftKey, which is free. That's my favorite, actually. There's also Swipe and Flexi, and there's some other alternatives as well that will be appearing in the coming months. You can also see what is using your battery. There's promising better battery life on iPhone 6 models, but it is useful to stay on top of it. So you can actually look by going into settings and then general and then usage and tap on battery usage, and you can see exactly which apps are taking up all of your precious battery power. You can shoot, number 3, shoot a time-lapse video. iOS 7 has slow motion, but iOS 8 has time-lapse. You can find that new option in the camera app. And number 4, get out of group chats. If you're in a messages conversation that has more than 2 participants, you can now give it a name, mute it, share your location, or get out of it with a couple of taps. Just select the details option from the conversation screen to bring up the new options. Number 5, send out your your phone's last location. So Find My iPhone isn't new, but there is a new option now in iOS. You can head to the iCloud section in Settings, tap Find My iPhone, and enable Send Last Location. When the battery in your device gets critically low, it will ping out a location report before it dies, giving you a better chance of finding a dead device. Number 6, you are able to search the web from Spotlight. Swipe down on the home screen to access Spotlight and type a few words, and you'll notice that the web links will now appear alongside the results from apps. Results from maps may also be included. The Spotlight section in the Settings app will let you change this behavior. And number 7, you can send voice messages now. So you can type out your iMessages, but as well send instant voice messages. Number 8, trash and flag emails more easily. So those are some new features that have been added to the Mail app. And there's a ton more here. Yes, this is a long story here, so I'll try to go through it quickly. Number 9, you can use Siri like Shazam. And so if you are familiar with trying to find out what song is playing, you can use Siri now for that. You can also, number 10 here, share with the family. It's one of the biggest iOS 8 upgrades that you might already be aware of. It's called Family Sharing, and it lets you spread the purchases of apps, music, movies, photos, and so on and so forth with other users running iOS 8 devices. And Go Gray, we're not exactly sure how this one is useful for most people, but we wouldn't want to let the accessibility options go overlooked. You can use a grayscale option now in accessibility. You can also search with DuckDuckGo, that was added. Track your health, set timed photos, customize sharing, The list go on and on. This is a fantastic story, so definitely check this list out on Gizmodo.com. And it goes through, I'm not going to go through each one of these because it's just too long, but there are so many different options, and those are just a few of them, but there's 25 different things that they list. So if you install iOS 8 and you don't know what's the difference, I don't really see a difference. Well, there are some differences. Check this story out. Moving on to the next story, coming from imore.com. Facebook, iPhone, and iPad app will get improved content sharing features for iOS 8. They released a new but small update for its iPhone and iPad app, and these are some more options that are coming in the few coming weeks ahead. So one of the changes has to do with the sharing content from other apps to Facebook. They posted a blog post that stated, by simply tapping the share icon and selecting Facebook, you can choose to share a link into a website from your browser, or to a website rather, from your browser, photos or videos from your camera roll, and other content from other apps. Facebook for iOS 8 will have an updated share screen similar to what you already see in the Facebook app, and from there you can select audience, who you want to share with, add a location, say what you're doing, or tag friends. Next story, coming from techworm.net, talking about Gmail, the Gmail leak casualty, and WordPress resets 100,000 accounts. So the massive Gmail leak has met its first casualty in WordPress, which today announced that it has preemptively resetting 100,000 accounts. WordPress, which is one of the most popular CMS providers across the world, took this drastic action when it was reported that up to 5 million Gmail usernames and passwords were published to a Russian Bitcoin forum. The user IDs and passwords were found to be mostly old and ancient, but the information has rung some bells in the tech companies worldwide, and Google has since confirmed that this leak was not a result of any security breach at its end. So WordPress reset the 100,000 of their 600,000 accounts, which appeared in the Gmail hack list. And moving on, next story coming from MaximumPC.com. Microsoft unveils a universal keyboard and wired Xbox One controller for Windows. That's right. So now Microsoft has beefed up its hardware portfolio, and two of the more notable items were this universal keyboard and that will work with Windows, iOS, and Android devices, and a wired Xbox One controller for Windows. So for all of you that are looking, to upgrade, you want to definitely take a look at these two features that are coming out, or two items coming out from Microsoft. And the last story, if you own an iPhone 4S, according to digitaltrends.com, they are saying not to install iOS 8. So iOS 8 has been released to millions of iPhones, iPods, iPads around the world, including devices as old as the iPhone 4S. However, the update isn't necessarily the best for all devices out there. Even though the 4S is compatible with the new update, it offers reduced features, slower boot times, weaker performance, and a generally lower quality experience than iOS 7. The iPhone 4S was released back in 2011 as the latest and greatest iPhone, but 3 years of advancement has turned Apple's flagship smartphone into a distant memory, discontinued as of September 9th. So while the iPhone 4S owners can still take advantage of the iOS 8 update that shipped with Apple's new iPhone 6, a number of issues have risen that make the device platform worse than keeping iOS 7 on it. So definitely, I won't go through each of these, but definitely check out digitaltrends.com for more on the story. And their advice is just to kind of stick with iOS 7 and not install iOS 8 if you have an iPhone 4S. And that is the news, Brad.
Great stuff, Jennifer. Great stuff. Well done on reading the news.
Thank you. Kudos to, I think Jacob was behind some of the story selections there, right, Jacob?
I mean, yesterday.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice stuff, Jacob.
Okay,
you're welcome.
Yeah, good stuff, Jacob. Let's go to Bryce first. What's your view on them stories, mate?
I don't really have much to say on the stories, but I wanted to say, did anyone see that Microsoft purchased the makers of Minecraft? Something like
I've heard of that.
2.5 billion.
Saw that.
And getting back into making games, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. They paid 2.5 billion, although I suppose it's not that bad. I mean, Facebook paid, I can't even remember, it's only 17 billion or something for WhatsApp, or something crazy for WhatsApp.
It's got to be something to do with their Xbox, because they obviously want to make their own games again, so there's got to be something in mind for that.
Yeah. Bryce, what about Apple buying Path? Is that correct? Path selling something?
I actually didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
I think it's probably a pretty good move by Microsoft buying Minecraft anyway, because the brand equity and what they're going to get with it. I mean, they'll probably get loyalty, because I mean, most young kids. Someone was saying the other day, if you ask a young kid, what starts with M and ends with FT, they're going to say Minecraft, not Microsoft. So, it's a pretty strategic purchase, and it's not too ridiculous. I mean, 2.5 billion is pretty crazy, but we've seen Facebook go all in on crazy purchases. Although, we won't know how they pan out for a while, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're buying it.
All right, good stuff, mate. Any other views on them stories?
No.
Okay. All right. What about you, Paul?
No, pretty much Bryce has covered
all right.
a lot what I was going to say. So.
All right, mate. Cool. All right. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I got a few things to say. Of course, most notable was iOS 8 putting it on the 4S iPhone. Obviously, a lot slower. I think the same thing with the iPad 2 as well, from what I hear. Maybe not as much, maybe. I don't know. It just depends. I've been hearing some issues with the iPad 2. And actually, I was reading a story today on the release of the iPhone here in America and in a few other countries. Is especially New York, the line for the Apple store, I think, was 11 blocks, at least 11 blocks long.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even longer. At first I heard it was 20 blocks. I'm like, oh, that's kind of long. And then another news report, I think it said it was 11. Who knows? It's somewhere in between there. But yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
All right. Any other things, Steve?
No, that was it.
What about you, Jacob? What's your view on them stories, mate?
Nothing much, but you were talking about Minecraft. Their company is Mojang. Yeah, and I was reading up on it. Notch,
we're getting okay from someone.
Not me.
Okay, let's go to Brian.
Notch was not.
Did Brian go or did he leave?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's your view?
Okay.
Stories, mate?
My Skype on my PC has crashed, and so I'm on my Mac.
Okay, that's way better.
So I missed a lot of the stories.
Oh, okay. Let's go. So you don't want to...
Well, wait. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Do you have an opinion on them stories at all, or you didn't really...
Well,
most of them.
We had for like the iPhone launch... I saw a video of taken by our local radio station, and it was in our mall where our Apple store is, and that probably doesn't compare to what it was in New York, but I know the length of the mall, and it basically went for, I don't know, the whole length, and the whole length is like, I don't know, 5,000 feet long.
That's about a mile.
People are...
This is 5,000.
It was really long and stuff, and it's like all these people lining up for a phone, which they probably would have gotten a lot quicker by pre-ordering.
Exactly, that's what I did.
One of my staff members was actually hoping to pick one up on Friday, but he got up at about 4 or 5 a.m., had a look at the queue online, and it was literally through the shopping centre, out and around the block twice. So he just said to get that. I was really fortunate to get one from Telstra. I walked in 2 minutes, they put me down on a clipboard and said, come back in 2 or 3 hours to fill in the paperwork and you're done. But the queues are unprecedented at the moment.
Did James get one, Andrew? Who?
Yeah, James did exactly the same thing as me. He went on a plan. I bought one outright. He did exactly the same thing as me. We got into work at about 9 o'clock, and there's a Telstra store just sort of down the, right where our office is. But it's only one of those smaller stores.
Yeah.
So most people always go to the big stores. Mm-hmm. That little sort of store on the corner, probably most people don't even know it exists. And there was no queue, and we just walked in, they had a clipboard, and they said, okay, you want one of those, tick, you've got that, that's yours, come back and do the paperwork later.
Sweet. And what plan did he on, do you know?
James, I think he got an $85 plan or something like that. So it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to go through that process. So it was really organised of them, rather than sitting around for 2 hours waiting for people to sign up for plans.
Yeah,
come back when it's time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on the Optus plan, $100 plan, plus I get 8 gigs a month for to use on 4G.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Telstra only give you like 4 gigs.
Oh, then move to Optus, mate, because they look after.
I need the coverage. That's what I'm
Optus do good coverage, mate. They do good 4G, and where I am anyway. I get up to about 50. It's pretty good speed.
If you're saying that your thing was 52 down with, I think, 23.
That's it. Yeah. So there you go, Paul.
Okay.
I don't get that in my area.
Yeah,
that'd be like download speed where I live.
Yeah, I know. 8 gig, I can use that for the whole month, on 4G, and it's pretty good speed, the internet.
There is that one thing that Telstra said I had to do was basically when you get an iPhone this year for some reason, for the first 3 days they give you 28 gigs, and they said just go nuts on it and download as much as you can. I've never heard Telstra ever tell me that.
That's crazy.
Oh wow!
What? They literally said for 3 days you're going to have to download as much as you can, because that's 28 gigs only just for 3 days.
What?
I don't know why it was just for 3 days.
Jeez.
I go, why is it just for 3 days? They said, it's just a deal we have going. It's like, wow, no one's going to use all that.
Well, and what about you, Bryce?
Wireless at home, you can actually download and get all of the content onto your handset as quickly as possible. They used to allow you to do it over 30 days the first month.
Yeah.
Allowed you to do it, which is really good of them, though, because if you need to download all these apps and bits and pieces, you can do all of that when you get your new phone, and then just sort of put it on warm mode after that.
Bryce, what about you, mate? What plan are you on? With Telstra or Optus or?
I'm with Telstra, but I actually ended up signing up. I used to be on Optus, and then I wanted to get when the 4S came out.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a 4S, and it was sold out. Similar deal, but I just signed up for a plan, and I got a couple of them on a plan.
Oh, yeah.
So I ended up moving over to Telstra because of that. But the plans back then were pretty crappy. I mean, I think I'm only on like 2 gigs a month or something. So it's pretty stone age, but I will probably change my plan very soon. But I think, actually, now that I think about it, that 28 gigs for the 3 days is probably a smart idea, because you know, a lot of people just want to get their apps on there, as Andrew was saying. But I think actually it's probably a pretty good idea.
What about some of the apps, Bryce? When will they get updated for the iPhone 6, mate, you reckon?
The applications?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know that quite a few of my apps on my iPad, I haven't got onto iOS 8 just yet for a few reasons, but I've seen about 5, 6, 7 of them already updating to take advantage of iOS 8, and I'm guessing that because that has the drivers for the 6, that it would be compatible as well on so on and so forth.
Oh, yeah, cool. All right. Alex, what about you? What's your view on them stories, mate?
Yeah, look, it all sounds pretty interesting, the way that different providers, Telstra, Optus, Vodafone, are going about incentivizing potential customers to come on board. And with that extra data allowance for the first couple of days, I had no idea about that. But, you know, it does make sense maybe for a month, but for 3 days, 28 gigs sounds a little excessive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
But outside of that, the new features that have come out with iOS 8, as covered in the news, there's a lot of features in there that I find pretty engaging. The one that I've been using most often is obviously that double tap on the home button, which now brings up the recent and your favorite contacts, which is very useful for me as far as calls go. So I am looking forward to getting the iPhone 6, not so much the iWatch, but definitely the iPhone 6. And 6 Plus, even in my hands, just seems a little excessive in size. But
too big, I reckon. Too big.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
My girlfriend's got the iPad mini, and I compared it to that when I saw it, and it's about 2/3 the size of the iPad mini, so it just feels a little big for me. I've got an iPad, so I wasn't really looking for something that was in between, and I think that's what really the iPhone 6 market is catering for, the user that doesn't just want a phone or doesn't just want an iPad, but something in between. So it's a fantastic opportunity for those users.
Okay, all right. Anyone else got any views on stories at all? Dave or anyone?
I do. I really like the 25 features that changed. I think that was a fantastic list. Because when I upgraded to the Gold Master last week, I was just I was looking through things like, oh, I really don't see that. There's some differences, but I just really couldn't put my finger on all the differences. And it's really nice to this makes you aware of everything that you can do. And again, I really love the fact that I can switch out the keyboard because I'm a huge SwiftKey fan, and I've been using it for years on Android. And just now, the fact that I could have that as my main home keyboard for in iOS, I think that's fabulous. So that I found interesting, and also the one about not upgrading, at this time at least, not upgrading the 4S to iOS 8. And that's relevant to me because my father still has a 4S, and I was just talking with him about it today, and and he hasn't upgraded yet to the iOS 8, so maybe we'll wait just a little bit. But yeah.
Will he be getting the new iPhone, Jennifer? Or does
he will be, yeah. He's going to be getting the. He's trying to decide between the 6 and the 6 Plus. So
okay, cool.
We'll see.
All right,
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I put SwiftKey straight on when I got it as well, Jen.
You do too, Paul? Yeah. Great minds. What can I say?
So Paul, you're going to be using your iPhone main now, mate, or what phone do you use now for your main phone?
Oh, it's really hard to say because I use it 50-50. Android on one side and iOS on the other. It's really hard to say which I use the most anymore.
Okay.
But for the last day or so, probably, yeah, I've been primarily on iOS at this point. Has anyone actually had issues with, the custom keyboards actually staying? Like, I've always had it on the iPhone. It just goes back to the default sometimes. It
pops back to the other. Yeah, I had the same issue. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. And then I thought maybe it was just something that I hit, when I tap the keyboard key by accident.
There's a global.
I'm wondering if that's what it is.
Would it be application dependent? So, if you're writing an SMS, one particular keyboard comes up, then if you're doing something on Facebook or in an email, another keyboard comes up, or is it just across the board?
Global. It's supposed to be global, yeah.
Yeah, there's a global button on the keyboard that when you hit it, it will switch between...
it switches back.
Yeah, between the 3 different keyboards.
Yep, that's what it is. So when you hit that key to the left of the space bar, then it switches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go to the guest. Jennifer, who do we have on today?
We have on Alex Haggerty on, and Alex is with Echo Health. So, hello, Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Hello, how are you?
We are well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm well. Very excited to be on the show and listened to a couple of the episodes, last of which you had Sally Gattenby on the show, the host of that startup show.
We did, indeed. Yes, she's fantastic. Yeah, and you actually on that show as well.
Yes, I was up there with Andrew actually.
Yeah,
so
we were. It was a lot of fun a few weeks
back. Great night.
Are you the one? Did you win, Alex? Was it you?
Yes, I did. I took
the
2-inch floaty and the
one who won.
Good on you, mate. Good on you, Alex.
I'm not worthy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about your wearable device thing.
Well, look, it really came about from a personal story. Okay. So I've got epilepsy, and about 3-4 months ago, I had a seizure. I've had a couple in the past, but this particular one, I was at home, but during the fall, I dislocated my jaw, cut myself above my eye, had to go to hospital for a couple of days, stitches, and it kind of gave me a better understanding of, well, what would have happened if I hadn't have been at home, if I'd still been, walking back from work or whatever the situation was. And it really encouraged me to look if there were any alternatives out there or anything that could help, at least in terms of if I had had a seizure, is there any alert systems or alert mechanisms that would at least tell somebody that, hey, you know, Alex is having a seizure, go find him and get to him quickly. And unfortunately, I couldn't find anything that was practical on the market. So that's when it really sort of became a bit of a driver for me to get up and do something about it. You know, I've got another startup I'm working on, but it's a bit more of a personal story for me. So that's what's really encouraged me to pursue this. And I've always been interested in the wearable tech space. I don't believe that a lot of the companies out there have really nailed it yet. Going after fitness and the number of steps you've taken, number of calories, it seems more of a passing fad, and that's why I was looking forward to more of the smartwatch alternatives. But there's really been nothing that grabs me yet. But what we're really hoping to achieve with Echo Health is a wearable that's more focused around detection and alert rather than, you know, how many steps you've taken and what's the time. So we've found applications not only in epilepsy but also for strokes, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and a number of other elements. And we're exploring partnerships at the moment with IBM and a few other companies regarding big data use in order to determine whether or not there are correlations between epileptic seizures and a number of external elements which haven't been able to be tracked or detected before. Wow. So there's a lot of interesting things going on in the area, but essentially what the technology is doing is we're able to detect that you've had an epileptic seizure. An automated SMS is then sent to a predefined list of emergency contacts with your GPS location, the type of medication you're on, how long the seizure's been going for, the intensity, whether there's been more than one seizure in a given period. And really, it's fundamentally just about alerting your loved ones, friends, that you've had a seizure and that you need to be found as soon as possible and cared for.
I have two questions.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, one was about the show. You know, the prizes that they give out? How heavy was that chain I gave you? And the other one is, will it work in the States?
Okay, so we'll go with the that startup show question first. The trophy itself is about 2 inches in size and extremely light. Think of a Coke can without the Coke in it, okay?
And how about the chain itself?
Oh, the chain is 24 karat gold. The thing is heavy. No, it's a plastic. It's just a light plastic chain. It's more representative and sentimental of the award as opposed to the monetary value. But it's cool. You know, it's definitely something I'll keep around the house. I don't know if I'll be wearing it out to parties and things like that, but I've got it at home, and it's a nice little memento to have. But look, the competition that night was fantastic. Everyone's ideas were extremely different. You know, I loved Andrew's idea with Zappo and Rewind. And, you know, going forward and going to some of the other competitions, it's going to be great to see what other Melbourne startups are coming up with and their ideas and innovations. So it's all very exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, in terms of the Echo device for the American market, yeah, look, we've already been in discussions with Sprint and AT&T in regards to whether it could work on their networks, and there's nothing to indicate it wouldn't. We've also been looking into the UK with Virgin and Vodafone, and likewise, there's no issue. So Telstra's wanting to get behind the project. We've had expressions of interest from a couple of Australian banks and research institutions. So coming out of that startup show, you know, we've had a number of offers regarding investment and consulting and partnering. So the whole experience to date has been very exciting, and a lot of people are definitely wanting to come on board. We've had a number of people actually ask if they can work for the company pro bono. So epilepsy is one of those conditions that it's close to heart for a lot of people who either are directly affected or know somebody with epilepsy. It's quite common. So yeah, it's everything's going well right now. It's all very exciting, very busy.
And is the device for sale yet, Alex?
No, it's not. So we're finalizing various trials at the moment to ensure that the algorithm has a 100% success rate in terms of detection. At the moment, we're on about 98%, but I want to get that up to 99 at least. But the algorithm we've developed, we've got a provisional patent on 2 of the elements to do with it. But effectively, it's self-learning, and what we're doing is we're taking into consideration a person's gender, height, weight, because the intensity of a seizure is very much dependent on how big you are and muscle strength and things like that. So it is self-learning. The more people that unfortunately have a seizure that we are able to detect, the more we're able to then refine the algorithm as we go forward. But as of today, it's 98% accurate.
Okay. All right, let's go to Bryce. Any questions for Alex, Bryce?
Yeah. How does it actually detect that you're having a seizure? Like, does it where do you use the sensor?
Okay, so it's a wrist-worn device, and we're making use of a number of the different sensors in the device used in a particular sequence or in conjunction with one another. The most important is obviously the accelerometer, gyroscope, and the ability to detect orientation. But the way we can differentiate, let's say, between you going for a run and swinging your arms in a consistent motion as opposed to a seizure is during the, if you're going for a run or a walk and swinging your arms consistently, it's quite a long movement, and there isn't any sudden stop to it, so there's not a strong G-force associated. Whereas with an epileptic seizure, it's very much a short, sharp motion that's very consistent. So the G-force associated with that in the unit is very high, and as such, it's very easy to measure. So it's very easy to differentiate between that and any other activity. So the technology that we're actually using, we've partnered with another local Melbourne startup called Smash Wearables, and they've actually developed that technology initially for tennis applications, being able to monitor performance and consistency when you're hitting a ball, let's say forehand, backhand, smash, things like that. So their technology that they've already developed a fantastic platform for then us to partner with and implement our software and algorithms. So, yeah.
So how did you, were you a developer and originally, or how did you, I know you said it was a personal thing for you, but how did you put this all together and, sort of do the research on the medical side and put it together?
Well, my background is in genetics, biotech, and business. So I've got an undergrad and 2 masters. I tried information systems during my undergrad, but failed Java twice and figured I'm never going to use this. Let's just drop the course. So programming is definitely not my strength. I've been involved in a few startups and consulting on a few startups. So that's where my interest in that sort of space goes. I am working on another startup at the moment, which has also been funded. So I've got a fair bit on my plate. But largely my interest with epilepsy, I've been on the board of directors for the Click Foundation, which is strongly associated with the Epilepsy Foundation, as well as Epilepsy Action. So I've been heavily involved in all the research and developments that's been coming out. And most of it is focused around detection, but preemptive detection. So what are the causes that might elicit an epileptic seizure, or what are the ramifications? There's very little to do with detection in a normal everyday circumstance. There's a few technologies that already exist if you're the sort of person that has multiple seizures a day, where parents can have a pressure detection mat put into the bed of their son or daughter to detect whether or not the child has had a seizure during the night. But there isn't anything that is for the majority of people that might have a seizure once a week, once a month, or once a year, where they still want to lead a very independent and active lifestyle without having to call people up and just say, look, I'm all okay, nothing's happened, which is quite common for the majority of epileptics.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting how you measure the seizure, but I thought some people, if they were testing it or something like that, or if they suspected that they were, sometimes you can have seizures without knowing it. I was just going to say, if you have something like an absent seizure or something like that, it wouldn't be able to measure that, right?
No, it wouldn't.
Because there's no actual...
Exactly. Yeah. So the difference between an absent seizure for the listeners and a tonic-clonic, which is what we're measuring, is An absence seizure is pretty much when you just blank out. You're not moving, you're not falling, nothing happens. You're temporarily not there, and that can range from a couple of seconds to 10 to 15 seconds. Whereas a tonic-clonic seizure, that's a very confronting seizure where you will actually collapse and then go into convulsions, which could go for a couple of minutes, all the way to 20 minutes. So they are very different types of seizures, and our detection is really going for the seizure types where there is a convulsion, which is quite often more dangerous.
Who was that? Please mute. Thanks. Go ahead. Sorry about that, mate. Go ahead.
That's okay. So our target market is really the market that has the tonic-clonic seizures, which are the ones that you lose pretty much all muscle control, you collapse, and you're on the ground convulsing. So they're by far the more dangerous, because during the collapse you can hit something on the way down, and there is an unfortunate instance where a lot of people can die during a tonic-clonic when they're actually collapsing, and they might hit their head on a bench or a table or a chair, and there are a few circumstances like that. But that's one of the beneficial things that we've been able to really focus on with Echo. We're able to detect if somebody has actually hit themselves on the way down due to just an interruption in the acceleration between the standing position and the horizontal position. So that's really what we're aiming for, the detection and the safety for tonic-clonic as opposed to absence seizures.
I think what you're doing is incredible. I think it's definitely I think it's an incredible project. I actually wouldn't even have thought of it. Are you gonna is it going to be very accessible? Is the price range going to be low, or is it going to be high? Or
the price range is going to be low. My goal is to really get this in the hands of everyone and anyone that has epilepsy. It's not how much money can we make. But when you take into consideration the fact that, for myself, I'm paying about $160 a month in medication. So our pricing model has been really based around, well, what are parents currently paying for medication, or what are epileptic currently paying for medication? We obviously want it to be in a ballpark where they could still cover the cost of their medication each month, but at the same time provide this as a peace of mind element for their loved ones and carers. So the price point for the device itself is $100 to $150. We're still nailing that. It depends on a couple of sponsorship opportunities. But then the ongoing monthly fee as a service fee and detection fee is going to be around $30. But we are exploring possible opportunities with various enterprise companies as well as Medicare to obtain subsidies of up to 60%. So at the end of the day, for a parent, it could mean that, look, they pay the $100, $150 up front for the device, but then after that, they're paying $10 a month.
That's really, that is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, really modest pricing when you think about what the actual benefit is of this product. Yeah. And this isn't just another tech company creating a fun gadget. This is health. This is a real concept. So
I'm guessing it's going to be connected by to some kind of smartphone through Bluetooth or wireless, and then that way, in case it has to contact somebody, it can do it through text messaging or something like that, or...
That is correct. So in the initial version, it is dependent on a wireless Bluetooth connection, but in subsequent versions, we are exploring the opportunities of embedding a SIM card into the device itself, so an automated call would be made from the wearable device. However, the technology just isn't there at the moment for wearables, even though it is progressing and developing quite quickly with the likes of Samsung, Apple, and a number of other big players being involved. The real hurdle is battery life, and that's been the real restriction for anything wearable-based. It's just about getting the most bang for your buck, and that's where a lot of companies are really struggling with the technology at the moment, and that's why embedding all these color screens, retina display sort of stuff, it really does suck up the battery life. So during our initial tests, we've got a minimum at the moment of 72 hours. That's been our benchmark of, if it's not greater than 72 hours, it's not going to be released onto the market. So we have set a pretty high standard, but at the moment we're looking at about 5 days battery life in our initial testing. So
that's good.
We're well and truly smashing that.
Very good. Alex, what's your view on any other wearable devices like Google Glass, that sort of thing? What's your view on them?
Google Glass, I think it's an interesting concept, a little too bulky to be worn in everyday use. Obviously, it does bring up a lot of issues in terms of privacy. If you're wanting to just have a conversation with someone and they're wearing one of these Google Glass devices and you're not aware if they're recording or it's not, or there's obviously a few privacy issues there. But in general, I'm not a huge fan of the likes of, let's say, the Fitbit, for example. The fact that a lot of these fitness wearables require you to sync your device or plug in your device to your iPhone or your laptop at the end of the day to copy across the data, it has a very gimmicky feel where you might use it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but on an ongoing basis, it doesn't really have any practical use. The more recent entries from Samsung, LG, and even more so Apple, it's interesting, but I still don't think they've hit the mark. When I first heard that Apple's going to be coming out with the what was termed then as the iWatch, I was very excited and interested to hear what sort of software and hardware that they'd be integrating, and considering at the time there was a lot going on with Samsung and their curved screens, and you saw a lot of mock-ups coming out to do with the iWatch and curved screens. I was a little disappointed to see that Apple really didn't innovate or revolutionize the watch, it seems. It's just the merging of an old style with new technology. I think they could have really done a lot more coming from a company that's really known for their innovation and taking big steps and big leaps and setting a standard. So I would have liked to have seen maybe a curved screen of some sort from them. However, it's going to be interesting to see what the technology is like when it actually comes to market for Apple, because they won't be releasing their product till, I think, the first quarter or second quarter next year. And to the best of my knowledge, they haven't made any mention of battery life either.
All right, anyone else got any questions for Alex before we wrap up? Jennifer, do you have any questions? I know you probably do.
Yeah, I do. So the device that you're making, are you planning on going worldwide with this, or right now you're focusing on Australia? Or
I am planning to go worldwide. So our provisional patents are global, not just Australia-based. But the way I felt about a lot of startups, particularly hardware, tech-based stuff, Australia is a fantastic testing ground in order to trial a product or a software or technology, because compared to the US, our population size, density and target market is considerably smaller. And that gives us a lot more flexibility to test something, trial something. If a particular feature doesn't work or is working exceptionally well, at least we're able to adapt it before hitting a much bigger market. So we have all the intention of hitting the US market. With some of the companies that we're looking to partner with, they've offered to give us extensive reach within the US as well as Asian markets, and another partner is also strongly interested in giving us a good push into the European market. So look, this isn't something that's just going to stay within Australia. We are hoping that by the end of next year we will be in US market.
That'd be fantastic. And if someone today in Australia wanted to get a device, they could pre-order on your website, is that correct?
We're setting up the pre-order page actually this week. Because to date we've had a lot of emails requesting, hey, can I pre-order? We were contemplating a Kickstarter campaign, but instead, because we've already been funded, we're just going to go with a pre-order page. So that will be up and running this week or next week. But at the moment, we're really just taking, largely Facebook if anyone's interested. Otherwise, they can just go to echohealth.co and enter in their details there. And as soon as we're up and running, they'll be the first to know, and we'll aim to get a product to them as soon as we can.
All right.
How exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, congratulations on making something like this. That's you're helping a lot of people by doing this.
Thank you very much.
Definitely. Anyone have any questions?
I wanted to ask, with the data, you were saying that IBM wanted to look at variables that influenced what would bring on a seizure. I thought that was pretty interesting, but how would they... so the data points would have to be entered? How would that work, looking at the variables?
Well, IBM is just one of the groups who've been talking to. There's been nothing sort of confirmed. But what we are looking at is big data sets. So being able to take, let's say, comparing somebody in Australia compared to somebody in the US, who are both of the same age, same type of epilepsy, similar background in terms of the number of seizures, Obviously, they're seeing completely different doctors and specialists, and their medications are very different. However, let's say this person in Australia, their seizures are now controlled, yet this person in America, whose seizures are still occurring every now and again, using this big data sets, their specialist would be able to say, well, look, there's this person in Australia who has a very similar condition to yourself, similar lifestyle, age, gender, everything like that. They're on this medication, and it seems to be working for them. Why don't we also put you on the same, considering this medication isn't working for you? It gives... Sorry?
Sorry, go ahead.
It gives doctors and researchers access to much more data on a global level, as opposed to a very micro, what other patients does that doctor have where they're using particular medication types? Because there's that many different types of medication, dosage strengths, times in which you take it. It is very all over the place, and it is largely dependent on the individual. So being able to draw those relationships and correlations between different users hasn't been done before, and that's what we're really trying to achieve. And anything in addition to that would help us in an effort to preempt a potential seizure. So if somebody is, let's say, more likely to have a seizure if they had 6 hours sleep, it's a hot day, they woke up early, and they've just gone for a run.
I was going to ask, does it take environmental factors into account? Would they enter that, say, into their phone and say, it's like it'll come up with a questionnaire, slept 6 hours, how do you feel, something like that?
Well, actually, it can all just be pretty much detected within the band itself. So if it's worn to bed, we're able to detect, well, look, this is nighttime, this person's not moving, obviously they're asleep, so we can take that in consideration. But
this thing is incredible.
Yeah, and
incredible, yeah.
As far as data
it's mind blowing. The applications of it, honestly, that it just sounds incredible.
Bryce, do we get cool people on this podcast or what, mate?
Yeah, this guy's crazy. I can't believe this device. It's absolutely.
Look, you can see why we didn't win that startup show.
Yeah, well,
it's such a great device, and the fact that you're actually able to partner with another wearable company, I think it's really good. And as a startup, that means that obviously there's a lot less potential cost.
All right, let's go to Steve. Steve, any questions?
Oh, no, that was it. Thank you.
All right, anyone else got any questions before we wrap up? Alex, where can we get hold of you if you want to ask any more questions, mate?
Look, if there's any questions, just shoot me an email, alex@echohealth.co.
Okay.
Otherwise, follow us on Facebook, Echo Health, or even jump onto our website, echohealth.co.
All right, good stuff. And where can they get hold of you personally, on Twitter or on?
Twitter. My handle is at Alex Haggerty. So that's AlexHaggerty. Or if you want to just follow directly on Echo Health, it's at Echo Health.
All right, good stuff. Thank you for being on, Alex. Appreciate your time, and
No, Brad, thank you very much. Been a pleasure. And look, when the product's up and out for market, I'll definitely be touching base and jumping on again.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, you're more than welcome to come back on. Jennifer, what's your final reel of the show? And we're going to get hold.
I thought the show was fantastic, as always. And people can get a hold of me at jenniferruggiero.com or getnerdywithit.com. So be sure to check out my podcast, getnerdywithit.com.
How's your podcast?
It's going well. We had a fun show last night talking all about iOS 8, Android as well. And so we went back and forth. And Apple Pay, and
we didn't talk about Apple Pay on the show. Well,
we didn't talk about it.
How does Apple Pay work? We explain about Apple Pay.
Yeah, well, that's starting in October, right? So you'll be able to do wireless NFC payments, with the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not for us, though. It's only US.
Only for US, huh?
Only for US.
Yeah. Do you guys have Google Wallet out there? Can you use NFC payments with your Android?
That sucks.
No?
Only in the US.
Only in the US.
Yeah. We don't have anything that's cool out here yet.
Maybe it'll
gives us
eventually
something to talk about in October.
But we've got
you guys have so much cool. You have the coolest people. You have the coolest music. It's like everything is cool in Australia. So
yeah.
We have the same music as you guys do.
No, your music is better. I listen to Australian stations, and your music, and you have like artists that are just awesome. And
what about on Spotify, Jen? What's your favorite music on Spotify?
I listen to like Triple J all the time. I listen to Triple J all the time. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, Andrew knows that.
Yeah, it does. Ross, what about you, mate? What's your fun of the show, and where can they get hold of you, mate?
I thought it was a great show. I think the device is incredible that Alex is pioneering. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/BILSTA57.
Cool, man. Did you watch my new video?
I did, yeah. Very good.
Okay.
That view count is insane. I think it'll probably go to 100,000.
Okay.
I mean, it's already at 40-some thousand.
What's the most view you've got on your video? One of your videos before?
I think like 500,000 or something.
Oh wow, that's good.
It was on the Call of Duty thing, but it was similar height. But that 40,000 in one day in this climate that's crazy.
Are you going to do an unboxing for your phone, Bryce, on Tuesday?
I think it's a bit late. I think you kind of have to be in there early, but yeah, I won't get it until Tuesday, so it'll probably be a bit late.
Okay, all right.
That's kind of why, Brad, I was saying, hey, as soon as you get your phone, jump open, we'll do that unboxing, because timing is so important with that sort of thing.
It is.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Well, just during the show, you guys, now you're at 44,430.
Wow.
Just like a half an hour ago, you were down at 44,003. Now it's just in half an hour, it's over 400. I mean, 44,430 just now. I mean, that's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you guys are famous.
I think we need
to
do some more videos, Andrew, with that sort of stuff, mate.
That's really cool.
I think so.
Okay, let's go to Paul. What about you, mate? What's your fun of the show?
That was a great show. Just one thing I was going to ask Alex if he's still there.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm just curious if when you complete your product, you'd go that one step further and actually have a delivery system for medication or anything like that for when they're actually having the seizure?
Unfortunately, when somebody's actually having the seizure, it's a little late at that point to provide any medication. What we are wanting to do, though, is look to partner with various emergency services. So instead of just contacting the emergency contacts that a user has predefined, it can instead send out an alert to the ambulance, for example, to come pick the person up. The reason we can't do that now is there's a few legislative conditions within Australia around sending automated alerts to 000, your equivalent of a 911 in the States. But once the product is established and it's recognized as something that provides accurate readings, then look, I can't imagine those sorts of initiatives would be turned down. But for the time being, it really is about that detection and getting the right people to that person as soon as possible. And then secondary services are obviously to do with that big data sets. And moving forward, there are a number of other things we've got in the pipeline, as well as particularly focusing around other neurological conditions, particularly diabetes. That's another big area we're looking to cover with the device.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Steve. What about you, mate?
Oh, I really like this show. I am kind of interested in health apps or wearables, but not really for fitness, but for people with medical conditions, diabetes and everything. And I think in some ways that's important to focus on that as well. So that's the reason why I like this episode. And you can find me on Twitter as Chatterbox_live.
Okay, cool. And what's your favorite feature of iOS, Steve, you've been liking so far?
It's really hard to say. I kind of like I said, the medical one for the medical ID. So if you have a medical condition, you actually put it in the lock screen. You can put a contact where you can, even though the phone's locked, you can call that person and, hey, man, your guy's having a seizure or whatever, Of course, using the Echo Band would tell them ahead of time as well, so.
Definitely. I like the handoff feature, Steve. The hand thing
I've been
feature.
testing that out. Mine's only
Has
been
it been working okay for you?
Halfway. It's kind of hard to set up, too.
Yeah, it is very hard.
I've been trying to figure out how to make it work.
You got to be on Yosemite though.
No, it works on the iPhone and the iPad between each other.
iPhone.
Oh, that'll work. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, have you tried that, Steve? Or
mainly between Yosemite and iOS 8, but I've only got half the features to work. The phone call I could for my Mac desktop I got to work, but I have some audio not routed correctly, I think, but.
That's right. You got the texting and the phone calling now from your phone onto Yosemite now. So when that comes out in October, hopefully, you'll be able to just, dial a number or receive phone calls on your Mac.
That's all right.
But yeah, obviously we can't experience that until we get the new OS come in, which will be soon, hopefully.
Yeah, probably in October. There's going to be another Apple event in October, apparently, for the new iPad and stuff.
21st.
Yeah. So that should be good. You can get me on Twitter at Brad Oz and Techwebcast. What about you, Brian? What's your final view on the show, mate? I know you wanted to come on, and you probably have fun on here, mate.
Yeah. I wish you all luck with the new device, especially when you come to America and try to take on our American healthcare system. But the only thing I see that can be, and I'll just be honest, the only thing that I can see that's a holdup is how it will affect come in contact with our HIPAA laws on health privacy and everything. So, but good on you for getting that stuff out, and because you're more interested in about helping the people than actually making the money. That's really important and stuff. So, but otherwise, as for the show, I'd like to get the iPhone. It's just expensive and stuff. So maybe someday I'll be able to get one.
What did you think of the iPhone 6 Plus, Brian? Is that a good size for you, mate?
I still have to see it. I have not seen it in person because I decided not to go out in the lines today because I just came back from Chicago, so I'm really tired. But if it's anything like my Galaxy S4, it'd be a good size.
Okay, all right, good answer. Who else do we have? Andrew, what about you, mate? What's your view on the show?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show, and it's great to have Alex on. And I was really keen. I spoke to Sally to get Alex on because I think the device that he has, as I was sort of saying earlier, it's not just another tech toy. This is a health wearable that is honestly going to help people, and it's a great thing that they're doing there. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a busy week with iOS 8 and with the iPhone 6, and really looking forward to playing with that a lot more this week and having a few more thoughts on that in next week's show. But it's been a whole lot of fun, and if you want to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook. Sorry, Brad.
No, I'll ask you after. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in.
I was just going to say I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter as Cunning Drew, and you can also get me on the Zafo app at Andrew, and be sure to download Rewind, RWND, on the App Store, and we're working on Android at the moment.
Good stuff. One request for you, Andrew. Can you please move away from Vodafone, mate?
Yes, I will be doing that.
Your reception is completely shit, mate. Seriously, man.
Yeah, I'm not going to put a company down on live radio, but I'm not really impressed with Vodafone.
Yeah, well, come on. You got the new phone, so,
Yeah, I do apologise. I've had a few daddy duties today, so I've been on mobile and a little bit here and there. So next week I'll be back on the MacBook and able to probably put in a bit better podcast.
Oh, good. But I guarantee if you were Telstra or Optus, your phone, you would sound so much better with the reception.
I guarantee.
That's my opinion anyway. Do you agree, Bryce or Paul? He should be away from
I've never tried Vodafone since I was 15, which is probably 15 years ago. So just giving you a guess on that. I'm guessing it's been the same since then.
What about you, Bryce? What's your view on Vodafone?
I've never been on Vodafone, so I guess that says
don't go on it, mate. Don't recommend it. All right, thanks for being on, guys. Great show, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex, for being on, mate. Appreciate your time. And, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Techwebcast. The hosts and guests are unsurpassed. Techwebcast. Cause technology, it moves so fast. Techwebcast. Ha! Stick around and you're gonna have a blast. Yeah! Techwebcast. Ha! Ha! Techwebcast. Big ups to Andrew, to Brad, Jody, Steve, and Jennifer. Boom!